Good morning, students. Let us start with the remaining part of the chapter 1 of civics, the Constitution of India. As we have discussed in the previous video about the meaning and importance of constitution, and along with that drafting of the Indian constitution was also discussed. So here today we are going to start with the features of Indian constitution. The first feature of Indian constitution is federalism. It means the existence of more than one level of government in the country, that is one at the center and other at the state. In India, we have central government which makes laws on the subjects concerning the entire nation, like relations with foreign countries, telecommunications, defense matters, budget, etc. At the state level, we have state governments which deal with the problems and needs of the people in the state. For example, agriculture, law and order, etc. These come under the state jurisdiction. It means there is separation of power between the state and central government. Students, you know that our constitution contains three lists of subjects. One is the union list, other one is the state list, third one is the concurrent list. Union list on which the union or central government makes laws, and the state list on which the state government makes laws. And what is the concurrent list? That is a list on which the union and the state governments share the power to make laws. In Indian Federation, states derive their authority from the Constitution. Indian Constitution also specifies that in case of conflict or emergency, affairs of states can be controlled by the center keeping in mind the national interest. The second feature is the parliamentary form of government. It means that the people elect their representatives to the parliament, which consists of two houses, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. In India, the president is only a constitutional head of the executive who acts only with the aid and advice of the real political executive, that is the prime minister and the council of ministers. The council of ministers is collectively responsible or answerable to the legislature. Separation of powers. According to the Indian Constitution, there are three organs of the state. These are legislature, the executive, the judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representatives. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. The judiciary refers to the system of courts in this country. In order to prevent the misuse of power by any one branch of the state, the Constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers. Through this, each organ acts as a check on the other organs of the state, and this ensures the balance of power between all the three organs of the government. The next feature is universal adult franchisee. It means all the citizens of India who are above 18 years of age have a right to vote irrespective of their caste, creed, religion, gender, educational level, etc. One of the most important features of Indian Constitution is the fundamental rights which are provided to all Indian citizens irrespective of their caste, creed, sex, religion, etc. Students, you know the section on fundamental rights has often been referred to as the conscience of the Indian Constitution. It has guaranteed 6 fundamental rights to the citizens. These are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. The first fundamental right is the right to equality. It says that all persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the laws of the country. It also states that no citizen can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, caste or sex. Every person has access to all public places including playgrounds, hotels, shops, etc. The states cannot discriminate against anyone in matters of employment. The next is the right to freedom. It is included in Article 19 to 22. It is the cluster of various rights or freedoms. That is freedom of speech and expression. Second one is freedom to assemble peacefully and without arms. Third one is freedom to form association and unions. Fourth is freedom to move freely. Fifth one is freedom to reside in any part of the country. And sixth one, freedom to practice any profession or occupation. Right against exploitation. This right is included in the Article 23 and 24. This right says the Constitution prohibits human trafficking, forced labor, and children working under 14 years of age. Right to freedom of religion. This right is included in the Articles 25 to 28. Religious freedom is provided to all citizens. Every person has the right to practice, profess, and propagate the religion of his/her own choice. Cultural and educational rights are included in the Articles 29 and 30. The Constitution states that all minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their own culture. Right to constitutional remedies is included in the Article 32. Under this right, citizens have the right to go to the court if they feel that any of their fundamental rights has been violated by the state. Students, the next key feature of our Indian Constitution is the fundamental duties. Rights and duties are interrelated or they must go together. For the progress, development and smooth functioning of any society, it is very important for citizens to perform certain duties. Our Constitution has listed some fundamental duties of the citizens. Let us discuss those. First is to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. Second, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Third, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Fourth, to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. Fifth, to promote harmony. Sixth, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. Seventh, to protect and improve the natural environment. Eighth, to develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. 9. To safeguard public property. 10. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity. Directive principles of state policy. Directive principles constitute an important part of the Constitution. Constitution seeks to achieve the ideal of a democratic welfare state as mentioned in the preamble with the help of these principles. Article 38 of the Constitution lays down that the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people. According to directive principles, state shall direct its policy in such a manner as to provide opportunity to all men and women for adequate means of livelihood, and the economic system should not result in concentration of wealth in a few hands. It is the government's duty to follow these principles while making policies, so these principles serve as a guide to the Indian states. Students, let us recap what we have learned today. We have learned the features of Indian Constitution. First feature is the federalism. It means there is existence of more than one level of government in the country. Second, parliamentary form of government. It says people elect their representatives to the parliament, which consists of two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Third, separation of powers. Government of India has three organs: legislature, executive and judiciary. Fourth, universal adult franchise. It means people who have attained the age of 18 years or above, they are having the right to vote without any discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, religion, gender, race, etc. There are 6 fundamental rights and 10 fundamental duties mentioned in the Indian Constitution. Directive principles of state policy. These are the guidelines to the center and the state government of India to be kept in mind while framing laws and policies. Students with these key features are constituent makers have tried to balance their concern of diversity, unity, socio-economic reform and representation with their commitment to transforming independent India into a strong democratic society. My dear students, I hope all of you have understood the topic which I have explained you through this video, and kindly do the worksheet also which I am sending along with this. Thank you so much students. Have a good day.